Okay, so I'm really looking forward to watching this video. But what I need you to do is do a little bit better with the scent inventory. Okay, so before you start, let's take your time and walk them around your vehicle a little bit. Maybe go across the street, let them check that area out. Don't go over to the scent article yet, but give them a chance to pee, to smell all the other things that are in the area. It doesn't mean mark all the time, but it does give them a chance to pee. Um, but one of the things you have to understand is the dogs need to get an idea of where they're hunting at. It makes getting the track a lot easier. Now it's not such a big deal because it's a clean, fresh track with nobody on it, so it's easy for your dog. But as we get more complicated in the urban stuff, it's going to be really important. Okay, so let's just get into the muscle memory of it right now. Spend a couple minutes before you start your track on the scent inventory and walk them around the area before you get started. So it doesn't take long for him to actually get the track out from the car, and he picks it up right here. You can see that. So he already actually has odor, and realistically you could have just let him go with the lead at this point. I know the scent article's coming up, but he is actually already on it at this point. So really good work. I love how easily he transitions into that track. Amazingly natural dog, and honestly not too common with Rottweilers. So you get a little change of behavior here. I don't think this is your road crossing, but I think it's just a lot of odor getting blown down the middle of the road. This can happen with traffic. It also can just be wind scent from your subject if they're down at the end of the road without a big turn at the end. So he is an odor, but this isn't necessarily tracking. I think this is wind-blown odor that he's pushing into directly with his nose. Now he gets back on track. Getting to the beginning of your turn and then the road crossing, and notice how he reacts right here. This is a proximity alert to your turn, and it's because it's at the apex. When the turn bends in on itself, you're going to get a concentration of odor here, and he doesn't have a track that continues, so now he needs to start trying to find and isolate the exact track. Now you can see his behavior here when he gets up to the road, that he detects the track on the other side, not necessarily right where that step-off point was. The step-off point was behind you, but now he's detecting odor on the other side of the road and pushes across it. Now this is because of the apex. When the turn bends in on itself, you're going to get a concentration of odor that drifts down the road with the direction of the track or against it. So sometimes you'll have the dogs cut the track early, and sometimes you're going to have the dogs go past the actual turn and kind of cut diagonally across, very similar to what he did right here. So the purpose of this exercise is for him to begin to start detailing those step-off points of where your person leaves the soft surface and crosses the road. This is really important because it's going to lead to that hard surface work a little bit later on. You have to understand that the track does not really exist well on the hard surface right along the footsteps. It actually has a tendency to drift and move with wind, and then also, of course, vehicles. And so detailing that step-off point is important because it gives the dog the opportunity to pick up that small, minute amount of odor that's going to be on that hard surface. Now, one of the things I want you to do is when he is up on to the right or to the left of you, I want you to try to stay right behind him. Try to stay lead neutral. Don't stay off to the left or to the right, even if it's easier to walk that way, because you have to understand that a little bit of pressure to the left or to the right for too long could have him come up and off the track, especially when it gets weak. If he's walking in a hard area, you need to do the same thing. Okay, so you're about to get your next turn, and you're going to see it very well in him. There's a little proximity alert to it. And watch how he details the hard surface and the step-off point. Now we're getting some hard surface work. Now he overshot the turn slightly, okay? And that's just because of the way the wind's blowing and that human odor going up and down the highway. So right now he's not working the track line, but he is working odor. This is what we call the trail. This is the odor to the left or the right of the actual track. Now, of course, he picks up the track really nicely right here. So watch this surface transition and how easy it is for him. And he actually gets odor on the concrete quite nicely. Part of this is because you don't have any traffic going up and down there. The other thing is it's a very short transition, so he gets the odor on the other side. Now, one of the things you want to think about is this is trailing, not tracking now. Your odor is dispersed to the left and to the right quite a bit because your surface is not really conducive to holding great ground track odor. Now, one of the things that's going to happen here shortly is what I think is a proximity alert. You know, he goes out in the middle of the road, and all of a sudden you're going to get a hard, real good head pop, and he notices something out here by this tree. I think he sees the white of the down tree, wants to investigate it, but I don't think it's all visual. I think this is scent-based. I think that this is the beginning of your proximity alert, and he thought maybe that's the guy hiding. But odor drags him down the middle of the road. Now, why do I think that this is the proximity alert? Because of the rest of the behavior that we see here. It's really quite heads up, and he's using the road as a path. It's almost like the road is now a wind funnel, okay? And he's just pushing right up the middle of the funnel. He doesn't really need to track any longer because that scent picture is so strong, it's literally coming right into his nose. Look at that headset. You've lost that nose down dog. You see that little head wave to the left and to the right? I call that a Stevie Wonder. It's when they wave their head, they get a little fresh odor. And the other thing that just happened is you sped up a little bit. Now, as we move forward with the training, you're going to have to consider this because he's a subtle proximity alert dog. And that can be a little bit dangerous because if you don't catch that proximity alert because you're moving too fast or there's too many other things going on, you could actually run into a bullet. These alerts are what we call the far alert because there's no absolute clear direction to it. He gets some good head waves, he has good fresh odor. He knows the general direction to go, but he hasn't triangulated exactly where it's coming from. You're going to see that later. So far alert, going to transition into a near alert here shortly. So one of the things that happens when you get these types of proximity alerts, these far alerts, and the dog is working the wind funnel and not the track, is they're just going to follow that blown odor no matter how it goes. And so your track line is not here. It's actually over to the right a little bit on the other side of the road. And this is not the crossing. This is a reaction to the air scent from a distance. But he picks up the track over here. Notice it. Notice the behavior, how he slows down. He details the step-off point, and we're moving in a really good tracking behavior. But now we get the near alert. Okay, sudden surge of energy, head goes up, and you have a 90-degree direction of travel, and he's telling you exactly where your guy is. So really great track, really fantastic work. But one of the things I want you to do next time we run something like this is have your track layer turn at the end of the trail at least 75 to 100 yards off the road. That will help us avoid those wind tunnels that are going right down the middle of the road. Now, I loved it because of the proximity alerts, and we get to learn about that. But what we want to try to do is detail those step-off points for your road crossings. He did that great on 2, but the other ones he didn't really quite get because of the proximity alert.